Hello. I'm recording this video to demonstrate an example of how I can export some of the data from Sage file from the older version to a newer file that I'm creating. So to illustrate this example, what I'm doing is I'm taking the data from the solution file that I have for chapter 6, which is shirts and ties from 2021 edition, and creating a brand new file 2023 for shirts and ties. And then instead of me getting into the data, the only thing that I'm going to do for this example is show you how to import and export the data from one file to another file using the 2021 edition file, and then creating a brand new file for 2023, and then using that 2023 software and then exporting the information from 2021 file. So to start, what I'll need to do is first I need to open the 2021 file. So to do that, I need to have a software for Sage 50 2021. So I have both the softwares installed on this computer. So first I'll start with the 2021 file, and I already have the actual file right here. So here I'm opening the file, select an existing company, and then going into this folder. Okay, so I have 2016 as my fiscal period, the session date. So now I have the file here. So this is a solution file. So it has all the data that I needed for the file. But if I'm creating a brand new file, which is a new file, then I most likely will start my ready file. So this is a solution file. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking the solution file because it has my customer list, my vendor list, inventory list right here, and then I obviously have my chart of accounts here as well. So here is my chart of account. So obviously use the whenever we creating test or whenever we are creating a brand new file for students to use for an assignment, what we will do is we will like to copy the file, and if you wanted to change any information, we can do that as well, such as changing the fiscal period or any of the other information. But we want at least the chart of accounts, vendor list, customer list, and inventory list to be remain same. So to do that, first what I need to do is I need to import all that information, export all that information into a CSV file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this file, and now what I'm going to do is import records, export records. So sorry, I'm going to go back again. So here we are exporting the accounts. So we'll go into say export the records, and then what we're going to do is export the records to Sage 50 import file format. Press next, and here are the 4 different lists that we can export into a CSV file. So the accounts represent our journal ledger account. So here what I'm going to do is, so this is ledger record, and then here is asking you where do you want to save these files. So what I'm going to do is in the same place where I have these sample files, I'm going to create a new file, and I'm going to call this 06 shirts and ties export files. We can call this exports or import files because we will be using it for both the reasons. So here I'm going to put all the CSV files here in this folder. So here I'm going to go into this one and press OK, and here I can name this as a chart of account and press next, and it's asking you which accounts that you want to create, and we can select all of them. And if you want to have inactive account copied as well, we can do that as well. So select all, or you can just click on this icon, it does the same thing. Next, then it says exported these accounts completed. Press OK and finish. So now you will see that we have the chart of account file here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing for the inventory as well as the supplier and customer. So here's supplier, and here we're going to call this is, you can call this supplier or accounts payable list and save them in the same place. Next, select all, next, done. Then we do another one for customers, and here we can call this AR list, and we want to save it in the same place. Next, inactive account. I mean, usually we don't have inactive customers, just in case if we have anything there, we can always do that. Done. And now we have the last one, which is the so export. The last one is our inventory list. So here we say inventory list. Go back to the same place, and then inactive, select all, next. See, in this case, that's only something for us to keep in mind. When it does, it only regular peppers will be exported. If you want export other prices, you can export prices afterwards. So if you recall, in inventory we have price list. If there is a specific price list that we have, it doesn't copy it. We have to copy that separately. I don't think big of the concern for us because we use just a regular price or prefer price in our course. Next, and then it's exported all that information. So now the file is done. So now we have done the export of these files, and they are sitting right here. So now to import these data into your company file, first we need to create a brand new file, and that is going to be created right here. Okay, so to create this file, what we want to do is we don't want to update this file, we want to create a brand new file. So to create a brand new file, what we have to do is we need to create a file by starting a new obviously by using the 2023 or the newer edition file. So what we need to do is we're going to close this, right? But what I need is I need the company information. So obviously before we do that, we want to make sure that we have this information copied or written somewhere, because when we create a brand new file, we need the company name, we need the fiscal start date, end date, the earliest date, and all those things. So what I'm going to do is on a piece of paper, I'm going to write this information saying the start date is January 1, 2026, and the earliest transaction date is July 31st, 2026. Usually when I'm doing this, I can just update this file if I have a software in the college or on my computer, which is the not a student version but a full software. I can simply update this file into a newer file. The only reason I will create a brand new file if I want to change these dates, or if I want to change any of the other information from the company, such as the chart of accounts. I wanted to create more customers or delete some customers and create some other information that is not in this particular file. But just for demonstration purposes, we're going to assume that we're going to create a brand new file, but we're going to keep everything else remain same. So now what we need to do is we need to close this, because we don't need the 2021 edition. So we're going to close it. No backup is required. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open Sage 50 2023. So now when I create this file, we don't need to select existing company. I'm going to create a brand new company. So here we need to go through these 6 steps to create a company. I copy the name. So here is I'm going to call this New Solution Ontario. I'm going to skip the address. We can put the country as Canada. and city as a Toronto. Wasn't sure what the city name was, but we'll keep it as Toronto. And then here is the fiscal start date, which was 2026-01, 2026-01-01. And the earliest transaction, I made a note of that, was July 31st. So that is 31/7, and the end is obviously December 31st. So here is the option: have the Sage 50 create a list of the accounts based on the business type, have the Sage 50 create a list of the account from an export file. Select the option if you're switching from QuickBooks. So we can select this option because we have the chart of accounts in that .txt file. So we can use this function. If you don't want to use this function, we can also import those accounts later as well. So that's entirely up to you when you want to do it. So I can use this option now. Press next, and it's asking which file. It is a Sage 50 import. Oh well, so we can do everything at the same time when we are creating a brand new company. So the chart of accounts, the vendor list, customer list, even if you have employee list, if you are using employee module, that can be also imported here as well. Select the list of the accounts. So this is chart of accounts. So here, now I'm going to browse and look for the file, which is right here. So this is where we're going to make sure that we select the right file. So this is chart of account, and this is AP vendor, this is AR, and this is my inventory. So we know that for this company we don't use employee, we don't need projects, so we don't need to import those files. So press next. This is a retail. Press next, and then here is asking you the location. So we have the folder that I created here in 2023. So what I will do is I will save the file in this location. Press next and finish. Now this will take a few minutes because you know that otherwise it's use a 2 to 3 minute process. Okay, my computer is moving fast, so it is doing it a little bit faster. You won't see it, I see it on the other screen as a percentage are moving. Currently it's 70%. Almost done, 90%. So here is what I see on my end. That is importing all the files. Press OK. Now I get a message saying that you have successfully created the company, and we can see on the back end as well. It's right here. Now close. Now I have the file ready. Okay, so here is our file. So now the file is ready for us to use. I mean, it's not ready to be used actually because we still have to enter the data. So we have the account list, but we don't have the balances in there. So now it saves, I would say, at least 80% of your time for creating those lists. Now what you have to do is you have to inactivate the modules that we don't need. We don't need employees, we don't need division. So what we can do is we can go back to the setup, not setup, we go into the user preferences and uncheck the employee and the division module, and anything else that we wanted to change, we need to change it. Like if we have any settings or link ups, all those things still has to be done, which we usually do in chapter 4 now. But the only thing is that the accounts are created and the vendors inventory and all those things are added. So now to get the file ready, first we need to make sure that the chart of accounts balance is there. So when we go into, I usually use this feature to enter the accounts. So here I can go into the accounts. You see that all the accounts are here. So what we have to do is we only have to enter the balances in all the accounts. So that is the only thing we need to do, but everything else is already created. So this doesn't take long. The time that it takes is creating the accounts. So now you can just enter all the balances. Once that is done, you need to enter the historical information for the vendors as well. I don't usually go here. I will go into the customer, go into the vendor, and then go into the history tab and to the historical invoices. And same thing with the supplier. I go to the supplier and change all the, you don't need to change because it's copy the exact same information, and the only thing you have to do is enter the invoices, the historical invoices here. So you will do that, and then obviously with the inventory the same thing as well. So you have the entire list of your inventory here. So now what you have to do is you have to put the quantity, you have to put the minimum level, the pricing. See, it says regular and preferred are copied. So if you have any special prices other than that, that will not show up. But in our course we don't use any special prices, so we don't need to worry about this. So we need to, this link up is already done as well, and then we into the history. Here you enter the historical information for the inventory. So now by doing this, we save a lot of time in doing the data entry, but now we just have to enter the information, which are the numbers, historical information from vendor, supplier, customer, and the chart of accounts. And then I always prefer to check the link ups as well. So if we go into the journal ledger, check the link up, the retainer need to be linked. Under the suppliers, we need to link these ones. So these are our normal things that we need to do when we set up the brand new company. So we have to make sure these things are done. And then the sales taxes as well. So when we're creating this brand new company, we don't have the sales taxes, or those things has to be done as well. So we still have to go through the step 1 to 10 that we have in chapter 4 for the setup, but the only thing that we can skip or save the time is creating accounts, creating vendors, creating customers, and creating the inventory list. But everything else, if it's required, need to be done, such as setting credit cards, sales taxes, and doing the link ups in all the modules or all the sub ledgers that we're using in the file. And then once that is done, you have the file ready to be used. Okay, I hope this video is helpful, and if you have any question, again, you guys have my email address and you're most welcome to send me an email. Thank you. Take care.